हमारी इस नजाकत को कयामत से ना तुम समझो हमें चाहने वालों न मिट्टी का सनम समझो थोड़ा रेशम लगता है
Yo 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 Oye capelana colete Ay Oye capelana colete Ay jatite Ay jatite
It has been a great pleasure. We hope you have enjoyed and that we may have another opportunity to serve you in the very near future.
Is that Irene I see?
It is.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Welcome. See, look, when you play good vibrations, good people come.
That's right. I'm so excited to be teaming up with you today to collaborate on Eats and Beats.
Hey, two of my favorite things.
I love that music you were playing too.
Thank you.
Kind of goes with the smell of my house right now. A lot of Indian and ethnic spices coming up.
I wish we had smell-o-vision.
So tell me a little bit about what you were playing.
Oh man. So look, we were starting it off, I tried to look into a lot of history of lentils. I know lentils from the way my family prepare them, but strong roots in the Middle East, Africa, of course, Ethiopia. You got Latin and Central America. So the fact that it represents so many different nations, I figured we play stuff of different nations. So that was a little bit of look, I can't even pronounce some of the stuff, but that was Yayoti Thoda Resham Lakata Ha. And that was the first track I played, which is from South India, a very famous movie. And then the second track was Bala et Ses Baladines, which I believe might be Haitian. So even though it has a lot of like cumbia vibes and stuff, believe it or not, has some Hispaniola action going on.
I was feeling it. It was inspiring me. That's exactly why I chose to do lentils today, because I know that here in the U.S. we're very culturally diverse. I know specifically being out on the East Coast, when we visited in the East Coast, we love just the huge mix of different cultures. I'm from Southern California, so we get a lot more
Hey.
vibe, but in the East Coast, you get all across Latin cultures, different people from the Middle East, from India, Pakistan. So it's been really neat playing with this recipe because I do use Ethiopian ingredients, I use Mexican ingredients, I use Indian ingredients. I went to the Mediterranean, Middle Eastern store to get some of the ingredients. So it's neat how lentils really across the board are used in different cultures because they are so nourishing and healing and also affordable. Uh, so, and we get a lot of protein from them. So I was like, oh, let's cook up something using lentils. You know.
I feel like people always sleep on lentils and beans. Those two right there, staples.
My daughter, our youngest daughter, yesterday, she's like, "Mom, we have lentils not lentils, we have beans every day in our house." She's like, "And if we go one day without beans, we'll know that for sure the following day they'll be at the house. They'll be in our kitchen table. We'll be eating them." I'm like, "Well, we rotate between lentils and beans." So I'm like, "Tomorrow you're not gonna get beans. You're gonna get lentils." So
Not
after
to be
cooking this up, we're gonna eat some lentils.
not to be cliche, she will enjoy it once she gets older. That's how it always happens.
Yeah.
So when did you start getting into cooking?
Well, I've always loved eating,
Hmm.
so that was definitely. I was always that young little girl that loved to eat anything and everything. So that's where my love for food started. Is just trying different foods, and specifically with my grandma, she loved taking us out to eat. She loved cooking food for us. So that's how I got introduced to a lot of different foods. But I used to play music. I used to be in bands.
Hey, come
So
through.
when we would have rehearsals or events at my home, or we would do fundraisers or any cultural event, I would always cook. And people always enjoyed my cooking, but I never really saw myself as a cook or chef. I just know I enjoyed feeding others. And it really wasn't for me until the birth of our daughter Galaxy, who is now 10 years old, that I started looking at food very different. You know, before I would look at food as a way of like comfort and enjoyment and like satisfaction. Once my daughter was born, I started looking at food as nurturing, as healing, as revitalizing. And I just got really into like plants and vegetables and herbs and spices and stuff that would nurture my daughter and nurture myself because having a kid, you need energy, you know.
Oh, ain't that the truth?
So
So
I
yeah,
feel
I
like
had I have a 4 year old, and same thing. Like before, I thought I ate pretty decently, but once I had her, I didn't realize we were gonna be eating avocados every day.
exactly right. No, everything shifts. Everything shifts because you want to be good and you want to be present. You want to be healthy for your family and for yourself. And I know once I had my daughter, it really, I looked at my mortality and immortality, right? I'm like, oh, I want to live long, but I want to live healthy. So how do I do that? And that started me on this journey to like visiting farmers markets and connecting with farmers and different farms. And eventually, we had our own community garden that we ran, and we grew a lot of our food. And then that turned into a food business and a catering business, uh, with the goal to empower and nurture communities and families, but with the social justice component of bringing nutritious, accessible, nutritious food to our communities. And so, as you can see, there's another little camera. You'll see a lot of the ingredients I use are local. They're fresh. I use a lot of different spices and different colors. And I think once I had my daughter, it was really like, oh, I got to look up. And as much as I want to nurture myself and my family, I also want to nurture my community.
Absolutely. That's really interesting because everything you said, I apply to music. Most
Yes,
people just look at DJs as being in the club atmosphere and playing for people, but it's like, no, we're healers as well, providing positive vibrations. Too many times people get caught up in the radio. I always say listen outside of the radio,
yeah,
but with good food and music, I feel like that's when families come together. That's when communities come together. So it's beauty. It's beautiful to have that type of juxtaposition. I would say, or intersection.
definitely. And the best gatherings are the ones with good music and good food, right? Like
Exactly.
it just goes hand in hand. So how about you? How did you get started in
Oh
music?
man, not to even date myself. I've been doing music for about 20 years now, which is hard to believe myself. But started the family since they're all a mixture themselves. Like I said, my dad is Afro-Cuban, my mom is Blasian, and like I said, we have history in India and Polynesia, so many places. So with that being said, it was no surprise when we heard all types of different music at home. And lucky to my thing, it was vinyl. Because now you bring up vinyl records, people are like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
So with that being said, they started playing the vinyl, and I realized I'll go, hey, that's a Tribe Called Quest. Hey, that song is this song, and I realized that people were taking sounds from these records that my dad was playing and my family was playing. So that really got me into a journey of hip hop and music. And then once that happened, rabbit hole. And then I just got into everything from bossa nova to, like I said, cumbia, a whole bunch of different flavors, el son. Just a lot of beautiful music that's out there that people need to hear in order to help us get through these generations, especially hard times like now. We need a soundtrack. So
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful. I was looking through your page, your Instagram page, and I love these little, those little like posts you do where you show the cover of an album, and then you kind of play like a little snippet of a song from that album.
oh yeah,
But I myself used to collect records back in the day, and so it was really neat to spot those records. That when you go crate digging and then you find this one record and the album cover looks really neat, but you know nothing about it. But then you're like, oh, I'm gonna take it because it's $1, $2, and then you go home and you find this gem.
you just said my life, innocence.
And then that, right? Then you start like, I remember listening to albums that were like Latin and like from other cultures, but then you hear the samples in like hip hop music, and I was like, oh, like so and so hip hop artist knows about this artist from this other country that's doing this kind of music and this kind of vibe, and somehow they're fusing. It was just really neat. So as you were talking about the records, I started getting chills because records, I don't collect them now. We've shifted and moved a lot these last years, and so I released them. But it's beautiful to see your love of music.
Are you a fan of hip hop?
I'm sorry?
Are you a fan of hip hop?
I am a fan of hip hop, but to be honest, I like it all. I like rock, I like hip hop, I like the neo soul, I like music in Spanish. I love world beat, where they fuse all kinds of music. And lately, I've been listening to a lot of like plant medicine music, so a lot of like tribal, like stuff from like the jungles, like really deep. I feel like that music is also very high vibe, very high vibrational, very transformational. So I listen to it all, but that's really my influence when I cook. There's always music,
Yeah, I was just telling my daughter about Stevie Wonder, The Secret Life of Plants. He made an album for a plant, and Plantasia for all my diggers out there. But what I'm finding is interesting, just hearing you talk, and especially I want to see some of your ingredients here. But the same goes with making beats. You got to have your pantry, so to speak. So, I definitely would love to see some of this beautiful colors and stuff you got over here. What is this?
So I have, so we're gonna be making this lentil remix. So you see, I have some onions, I have some ginger and garlic, I have some tomatoes, I have some zucchini, some sweet potatoes, kale, the lentils, which I soak overnight. I got some coconut milk. And then you'll see I have some lemon, coconut oil, and then I have an array of spices from garlic powder to berbere, which is like an Ethiopian spice.
Hey, let's get it.
And I got some garam masala, some cumin, some cinnamon, cardamom, curry powder, turmeric, paprika, sea salt, black pepper, and a bay leaf. And so basically, how you're saying, right? Like to make music, you incorporate different beats, different instruments, different vocals. That's how I see my cooking, is adding the different layers to really create this beautiful, nurturing, delicious, healing blend. And it's like this beautiful dish that once you start eating it, especially people that don't know, like that didn't cook with me, and they start tasting the food, they'll be like, oh, I taste a little bit of this, or oh, I see you sampled this, oh, I see you added an extra beat of this. And so it's been really fun to incorporate all these ethnic ingredients.
And I love the little hidden secrets, like I was just saying, your pantry. I heard you say, did you say turmeric?
Yeah.
Yeah, most people don't realize you need a little bit of black pepper just to unlock that turmeric. You know what I mean? So sometimes people put in the food, don't realize they need to, what is it, capsicum, I think gets it.
Yeah.
But with that being said, the same way with drums. Like, so I have my Like I said, this is my pantry, my spices. But the kick in the snare, but then adding a hi hat is like that extra pepper, like I was saying. So you got to be able to put it all together so it works together. So that's very, like I said, I see the parallels all the time between cooking and producing music.
Definitely. It's so beautiful.
Do you mind if while you're talking, I actually put some records on so we can see what we're going to remix today?
Yes. So put on some music. I'm gonna turn on my pot, my little hot plate, so I can get the oil kind of warmed up. And as you play music, I'll start adding some of the ingredients. Um, we'll start with sautéing some of the onions and the garlic and ginger, and then eventually I'll keep adding. But you play music, and as you flow, I flow here in the kitchen.
That sounds like a plan. And what we'll be listening to is Rao John. I feel we should play music that represents a lot of your ingredients and cultures. So we're going to start off with a trip to India. Like I said, I have fam who originates from there. So we'll start with here some vibes. And if anything sounds good to you, let me know, Irene, because maybe we can remix it.
Perfect. All right. Hit it.
Yeah, so I definitely still collect vinyl. I know it's a dying art. But to me, it's just stuff that you can't find on YouTube, especially when it comes to cultural music.
इन आँखों की मस्ती आ इन आँखों की मस्ती मस्ताने हजारों है मस्ताने हजारों है इन आँखों से वाबस्ता इन आँखों से वाबस्ता अफसाने हजारों है अफसाने हजारों है इन आँखों के
Hey, Irene, what are you doing right now with the sauteing?
So I'm heating up the pot and I'm letting the coconut oil melt. I use a lot of coconut oil in my cooking because of the antiviral and antibacterial properties. So it's very medicinal. So I'm letting that melt down and get nice and hot. And once it's melted, then I'm going to start adding the onion, the ginger, and the garlic. Saute that up before I add the rest of the ingredients.
Nice.
So keep playing.
Are you familiar with oil pulling? Are you familiar with coconut oil pulling?
Coconut? Yes, I am familiar. I've tried it. I don't practice it regularly. Do you?
No, I need to. I get on for like a few weeks or days, and then I fall right off. But I'm more prone to cooking. You know, I mean, it's doing this job, I assume.
Yeah, but it's. I might just have to try it tonight to see. Oh, tell us more. What is oil pulling?
So
out there that has never heard of.
I once again my pronunciation Ayurveda, which is the practice, a health practice that they use over there in East Asia. And basically, you get the oil and you put it in your mouth and you run it back and forth through your teeth, and it collects all the impurities, the bacteria, everything in your mouth. So not only refreshes your mouth, it's actually cleaning your system as well. So I've seen people actually oil pull and then cook with the same. I mean, not with the same coconut oil, but at the same time is what I'm saying. So
it's interesting that you bring up the Ayurveda because I am very influenced by Ayurveda. which is why I use the coconut oil. I use the turmeric, the pepper, the ginger, because it's spices that are very much used in that healing. I know with Ayurveda, it's a lot about your digestion and healing and cleaning your gut. So I know with the oil pulling, I remember when I would do it, I think you have to swish the oil back and forth for like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Get rid all the impurities. And I think that's eventually why I stopped, because I'm like, oh, it's just hurting my jaw. I kind of got a little bit busy. Like, I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back one of these days.
And, once again, I know some people who are allergic to coconut, so there's other options they can use, like grapeseed oil is very nice. What's some other things? Nothing is still as nutritious as coconut oil, though.
I know it's so good. I'm a big fan of coconut. I grew up spending a lot of time in Mexico, and coconut is very much used. We eat raw coconut at the beach with lemon and salt. So I love using it in my cooking. It kind of has this Okay, so the coconut oil has heated up. I'm gonna start adding some of the ingredients. You can keep playing. So now that the oil's hot, I'm gonna start with the onion, and then keep going. So you just play music, and I'll add my beats as you add yours.
Yeah, and please let me know some of these seasons you dropping in, because I heard you had some Ethiopian spices as well.
Yes, I got some berberis.
Hey, berberry. So look, let's see. Yeah. So I feel like one of the most prominent artists from Ethiopia would be Malatu Astaki, and he's from Ethiopia. He was really important in mixing traditional Ethiopian music with jazz and other cultures from around the world. So it was him that kind of, like, the same way I would say Bob Marley brought a lot of attention to reggae, I would credit Malatu with giving a lot of credit to Ethiopia. So this is special. This record here is from 1972. I think it's really funny because it's sponsored by Ethiopian Airlines.
Nice.
Which I haven't seen an airline do in a long time, sponsor a record. So I want you to know this is special. This record is sealed. This is a sealed 1972 copy. So we're going to open this up so we can hear what we can sound and play for y'all.
So this is a one-time seed, what is it, record release?
That's right.
From the vintage.
And hard to get overseas records unless you're at a good, like, secondhand store or maybe even online. But it's hard to just go into your average store and find a lot of this stuff because everybody's so used to Spotify.
That's right.
Which I have nothing against.
I'm guilty of it.
Yeah, that's what I said. I have nothing against it, except that they don't pay artists.
I know. All right, let's hear it.
Oh, you know what? I think that's it right there. I think that's what we need right there.
Yeah.
Hold on. I like the way that sounds.
Did you add some drums to that, or was that the
Oh, we about to. We're going to cook this up. I want you to get going so I can smell something afterwards.
Yeah.
Smell it through the screen, and then I might start cooking. So
And
yeah,
you know
this
what?
is
I
a
heard it.
process.
I heard the drum beat drop, and I'm like, okay, that's him.
Look,
So
and I
keep
think
going.
that's what intrigued me. The fact that it already had like a nice beat on it. I was like, okay, hold on, let me load this
Let's add to it, and
into
it's
the
perfect
system.
because I'm adding the aromatics. I'm adding the onion, the ginger, and the garlic. So that has to saute for a little bit. I don't really need to talk through it. So this is perfect. You flow, but it smells so good over here.
Oh, I'm jelly because I haven't had lunch yet either.
I'll mail you a plate.
Hey, and have you ever been to the DC area before?
I have been to the DC area. Me and my husband and our family, uh, not this summer, but the previous summer, we were in DC with Word Beats and Life, uh, working at the art camp, the youth art camp. So I was actually the resident chef, cooking up plant-based meals for the kids, and my husband was one of the educators, teaching
Oh,
art.
nice.
Uh, so yes, we've been to DC a few times, and we love it. We love it out there. Just the
Uh,
vibe is so nice.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I love the little pockets. That's what I was like because they have little Ethiopia on Ninth Street, the Chinatown. Even though our Chinatown does not compare to the West Coast, love the Chinatowns in San Fran and LA. And I don't know how San Diego's is. Do you have a Chinatown in San Diego?
You know what, San Diego? It's everything's kind of small. Like we're more along the border, so we get a lot of like Mexican influence,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're also a big military town, so we get a lot of people coming from other parts of the U.S. But it's not as ethnically diverse. So there's a lot of like Mexican and some Indian, Mediterranean vibe. But the East Coast is like everything.
Yeah, well,
Like,
it's funny. You know what you have over us? Tacos. Our tacos here are
oh,
do
you have to get
do.
tacos. That was the one thing I missed the most while we were in DC was like just that authentic Mexican food. You don't really find that, but it's all good. It's all
Absolutely.
good. There's all kinds of other stuff we can eat over there. All right.
Okay, we're gonna rewind this song. Like I said, I heard a part. I'm gonna record that into my SP404. So see, you use a stove, a burner, and a pot. I have this. This is my
Yeah.
cookware over here. This is a sampler that they no longer make. The SP303 came out in 1997, and this
Wow.
came out shortly afterwards. But now everybody just uses computers. So I'm glad that
Oh,
cooking hasn't upgraded
technology
itself,
is taking over.
taken over.
I know. Just this used to be made probably under the fire, right? The big old fire
And
pit.
probably more flavor was imparted with that fire, you know?
Yeah, that's smoky.
Same with music. I tell people, a lot of people are taking sounds and music off of YouTube and remixing it, but the clarity is not there as opposed to just doing it yourself from scratch.
Exactly.
And vinyl, the original, you know?
The OG.
The OOG.
So I added some tomatoes to my mix to bring out that juiciness.
So I know you're cooking, but tell me some of the hip hop artists that you enjoy.
A hip hop artist that I enjoy. Well, I love it all. Okay, my favorite pop band has to be Outkast.
Hey,
I just love how they mix these different beats and rhythms. I love the different vocalists they use or like the guest artists. So I would say my number one hip hop band would be definitely Outkast. What about
it's a
you?
it's a great choice. Oh, it's too tough. Especially somebody who deals with music. It's always going to be hard.
Or some of the top.
Oh, some of the top. That's easy. I was always a big fan of Black Star, aka Mos Def and Talib Kweli. Like I feel like
Sure.
together they were a good pairing, and I've been waiting for them to make a comeback. But they're doing their solo. I get it.
Yeah, it's been a minute, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else? Give me another one.
Oh man, we could talk music for days. Let's see. How about on the old school tip? Love Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, Redman. Um, like I said, Tribe Called Quest is always a keeper. Wu Tang, just because there's so many members.
Yeah. You know
Mm,
what? I just thought one of my favorite hip hop groups, um, and if anything, I really love them because of the singer, is Farside.
love Far Side.
Cali. Uh,
And
I
it's
love the
interesting
song.
because I'm a huge fan of their second album, Lab Cabin California.
That's the one. And
Because
she said,
Once Jay Dilla was introduced, he did Drop for them and Running, which I feel like two pivotal Far Side songs.
yeah,
But you know what?
that's such a good album.
The group wasn't the same once they broke up because I know they started touring with three people now, but without two of the members, Fat Lip and Slim Kid Trey, I really missed the Far Side for what it was.
It's not the same.
And since you're on the West Coast, are you familiar with like what was the name of the spot everybody went to? Good Life.
Say
See,
it
that was a
again.
little bit. It's a little bit more up north, like the Freestyle Fellowship, AC Alone, like the West Coast, MERS.
Yes, I am familiar with them. I back in the day, you know, back when I would do hip hop myself, I would see them and go to their shows. Uh, but I've also kind of lost track. I've never really been one to be like, oh, like I'm gonna follow this band and know everything about them. I just know when I hear something that I like, I'll just play it to death, you know. Uh,
That as you should.
yeah, that's kind of a, and I'll play it and play it, even if it's one song off that one album. Um, but yeah, I got to experience some of their music, and got to go to their shows. Okay, so you want to play some music? Do I talk a little bit more about the food? How do we flow?
This is good. Hey, as much as you need. Like I said, I don't want to. Now that I found out you're a former MC, I would. I know you got bars too, but you know, something about talking about music and stuff makes me hungry. So we definitely should keep it locked in on the food. Look at these beautiful greens. So are those yellow lentils?
Are these yellow lentils? You know what? They're actually green lentils. I got the little
The green
package,
lentils. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
but I soaked them overnight. So in our culture, it's very important to soak any legumes, any beans and lentils. You gotta soak them overnight for at least 12 hours to kind of activate them, to kind of release to kind of help release the enzymes. And they actually, when you soak them, they help your digestive system once you eat
Mm-hmm.
them. So they are green lentils, but they've been soaked, so they look a bit yellow and they look a little bit spongy. Um, but here they are. So I'm gonna add those. Once I add everything, the last thing that goes in is the lentils and the water. And the one thing I do wanna, where I'm gonna go with next, and something that I learned through like Ayurvedic cooking or more Indian cooking, um, is you kind of saute like the onion, the ginger, the tomato, the garlic, and you kind of let kind of like the tomatoes get a little bit juicy, like release the juice, and then you add all the spices. So before I used to add the spices once the water was in the soup, but
Mm.
now I add them all at the same time, which is really neat because then the onions, the garlic, and the ginger, and the tomatoes, they absorb the spice. Really nice. And so that's
Ooh.
what I'm doing now. I'm adding the cardamom, the ginger, the garam masala, the turmeric. I also add a little bit of curry powder. This has a lot of seasoning, but It's very good for you. So keep playing, DJ.
Well, I'm gonna see if we can whip up some. I make a track. I usually like to start with the drums because that gives you the good foundation. You got everything on top. I guess similar to you. What will we call it? Let's call it not a mirepoix. What do they call it?
Base, maybe you start with the base like how you would in cooking.
Sofrito.
Sofrito, that's exactly what it is.
That's what I'm looking for. Sofrito.
So look inside the pot. See if you guys can see. It kind of creates this kind of paste. And it smells so good. It's like aromatherapy. So once
Lentil specifically.
once like you mix it up for a little bit, then I just add the rest of the ingredients. So you keep going as I keep adding.
See if we can get the drums inspired.
Over there. I'm talking about.
Oh, I see they're grooving.
You also gotta shake your hips.
Lo que era necesario para estar contigo, amor. Tú eres una bendición. Las horas y la vida de tu mujer están para vivirlas, pero a tu manera. Enhorabuena, porque valió la pena, valió la pena, valió la pena. Lo que era necesario para estar contigo, amor. Tú eres una bendición. Las horas y la vida de tu mujer están para vivirlas, pero a tu manera. Enhorabuena, porque valió la pena, valió la pena. Te veo y me convenzo que tenías porque valió la pena, valió la pena. Te veo y me convenzo que tenías que llegar. Porque valió la pena, valió la pena.
Okay, I think I got what I needed. Let's see. All right. So I've taken a couple of sounds
Okay.
off of the records. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see which one meshes the best with these drums.
Perfect. It's sounding good. I like the samples you used.
Thank you. You know that you got to have a wide variety, and we're going to see what blends best with this. So we'll see if we can make the magic happen. But you know, that's what I love. Even once you've been cooking for a while or making music for a while, it's literally about getting a rhythm. And I feel like once you get that rhythm, it's like clockwork. Like, because I don't know about you. Do you ever measure out everything completely?
You know what? I never measure anything ever. I just taste as I go along. But specifically for this recipe, I made it like 5 times prior, just to get down the exact measurements that I think work. And then it's up to you. Somebody can follow the recipe and they taste it, they'll be like, oh, it needs a little bit more sazon over here. It needs less of this, more of that. But I normally don't measure anything, which is really hard because people always ask me, like, can you do a cookbook? And I'm like, I don't measure. I cook by feel, which I feel is probably very similar to how you approach music. It's what feels good.
Exactly. It's definitely about the vibrations, like I was saying.
Yeah. All right. So.
Gonna sample one more part. Okay, I apologize if this comes out loud. Let's see if we can fix that.
Like it loud. All right, so I have a question for you.
Yes, indeedy.
As you're making beats, right? You're making your music.
Uh-huh.
Like, what are the components to make a dope beat?
So, like I said, I would definitely start with the drums first because that's what gets everybody moving. Once they hear that, I feel like that's the breaking point. Then after that, I'm looking for isolated sounds. So something, maybe I want horn sounds, or maybe I want a xylophone. People forget that hip hop extends from people not knowing how to play instruments. And that's why they sample from records, because they didn't have piano class or such. So I start with the drums, and then I try to find pieces off the records that include the instruments that I'm looking for. So in this case, we got some xylophones. just took some horns. And now we're going to try to put it on the beat. So let's see. So I'm going to put down the drums first. Let's make sure this is not too loud. Oh, there we go. Can you hear that, Irene? Is that jamming? You know, and then, like you said, some of the other components that people love, nowadays, everybody loves that 808. Even though the 808 came out in the 80s and late 70s, 808 today is still what gives that rumble that everybody's looking for in trap music, whatever else the kids are listening to these days. I'm laughing because it's all subjective. You know, I like all genres of music, whether new or old. So
yeah, but it's interesting to see, right? Like what generations tune into what, you know, and how, and the different flavors, you know.
You know, it's and the same way I see music is the way I see food. Like the food to me you're making is very home style, comforting, great for just like passing down tradition and for families. But you got to remember, in DC, somebody will put that on the plate and charge $27.
Exactly. They should, because it's so good. It's so good for you. So if anybody wants to pay $27 for a bowl, come to my house. I'm just kidding. No, you know, it's beautiful because I do draw a lot of inspiration from our ancestral foods, you know, before the industrialization of food and our food system. And this is roots. This is roots eating. You know, this is the stuff that like is nurturing and so healing, you know, just like the sounds that you're sampling. You got some of that old sounds with the new stuff, and it feels good. It's very relatable.
It is. Do you you know about the three sisters? Of course. What is it? Corn, beans. What's the third?
And squash.
Corn, beans, and squash. That's right.
And the fourth sister that nobody knows about, or it's not as common knowledge, but it's the sunflower. So they all the sisters work together, not just to nurture the soil. Some grab nutrients from the sun, others from the earth, and the way they combine and mix, it creates a perfect blend of nutrients for the plant itself to produce the highest quality corn, squash, or beans. The sunflower brings pollinators, they bring all the bees, so you can check out a full harvest, a big harvest. So it's really neat how that works together. You know, the deeper relationship of food is also knowing how it grows.
So I would definitely call that a nice skeleton. And then from the skeleton, I would probably take it into the studio and flesh it out a little bit more. See, it's not like cooking where you got to have everything done once it's prepared.
Well, maybe it's like meal prep. you get some things done, and then another day, another time, you take it and work with that, you know?
That's just
So
what
like
it
last
is.
night,
Meal prep.
I was preparing the beats by chopping, by cutting, getting all my stuff ready, and now it's showtime. So now
You're
this is where
right.
the complete product comes. You know, and something
Yeah,
that you were talking about in regards to like how you lay down a song and how you need your bass. You start with your drum beat and then you start incorporating different elements. One thing that I do in my cooking that I try to be mindful of to kind of make a perfect combination is I add the different tastes. So like our tongue picks up on different sensations, different flavors. So I try to
absolutely.
incorporate like the bitter, the astringent with the lemon or lime, the bitter with the kale. The coconut milk adds the sweetness. We get the salty with the sea salt. And with the different herbs, you add like a sense of like earthy component to it so that when you eat this meal, you feel satisfied. Because when you miss some of the elements, then you kind of want to supplement it with another dish or a side of this or a side of that. But in this particular dish, I try to make it to where I work with all the different tastes so that when you eat this, you're like, oh, every taste is satisfied for me. So I feel completely nourished, you know?
I like that. Sometimes you eat things and the flavors get melded together. So the fact that
Yes.
there are a lot of bright stuff. What do you top yours with? Do you top it with anything like green, like parsley or cilantro?
You know what? So I top it with the dash of lemon or lime, fresh cilantro, and then like if I eat this the next day, I love soups the next day because the flavors incorporate better. I love sauteing cabbage with a little bit of lemon, and then top the lentils with cabbage, or sometimes even a fried egg, and it's so bomb. Like this meal is great because it makes plenty, so you can eat it once, twice, three times. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. Uh, so that's the beauty of making kind of like these stews and these soups.
Sounds like a perfect Sunday meal.
No, it really is.
Hey,
I,
speaking of Sunday, do you have a Sunday song I heard about?
I do have a Sunday song.
Do you like that segue?
So we were talking about this earlier before the show. I used to be in a hip hop band, spoken word group many years ago. Uh, but now my focus has been more playing music with my family, with my partner. And so we write songs. I love to sing. My background is I grew up singing. So there's a little song that we wrote one Sunday morning. And so here it goes. So I'm going to sing it, okay? Is that cool?
Please, you are a singer from the heart.
Okay. Okay, I close my eyes because when you close your eyes, you feel it. So, Sunday morning, we greet you with a song of love, a song of life, a song for you and I. I, I. The birds just fly above me. They remind me to be chill. We know life has its moments, but just look up high and keep your eyes elevated and your soul elated. We send you good vibes for your journey on and on, on, on. We send you good vibes for your journey on and on. So, just a little bit about this song. Usually, my husband plays the guitar. One of our daughters sing, and one of our daughters drums. So it's like a band situation with our family.
That means it's in the genes, it's in the blood. That's
All right, so I think we're coming to a close. Is that what's happening?
Hello. Sorry, mic went out for a second.
No worries.
Yeah. See, it's in the genes if all of y'all doing music like that.
Nice.
Beautiful song, beautiful voice, and beautiful food. So that's a triple threat right there. And the fact that you were singing and cooking, I know. Are you expecting a girl or boy?
Another baby girl. So
Oh,
asked about, or you mentioned the three sisters because I birthed two daughters, and now this third baby on the way. So in my mind, I call them the three sisters.
that is beautiful. And like I was saying is you singing and cooking there, I can only imagine how happy that baby is in your belly right now. So that is such a good look. She's going to be excited to come in. I see her big sister in the back right now.
Yeah. That's Kiki. Kiki's a chef and a scientist.
Hey.
And then our oldest daughter, Galaxy, she's an illustrator and she's a drummer.
Look, all the arts, just like Words Beats in Life, see?
Exactly.
With that being said, if you have young ones, anybody out there that's listening, if you enjoyed Irene's beautiful dish, if you enjoyed some of the music, there's opportunities in DC to enroll. WBLinc.org/jump in. And we are enrolling people now for 2021 in January. Things are going to be different. We've been in the house, so now it's time to have some creative arts, some music, some dance, just things that we need in order to help us get through this passage in time. And that's done with basically given to our future. So with that being said, make sure you enroll all the children and teens and people that you have who are looking to express themselves during times like this, which is where we definitely need it. Also, I appreciate people like Irene who just creates and crafts beautiful dishes with things that we can grab from the store or just from a farmer's market and don't have to really rely on food deserts and junk food when you can have good food that warms your soul as well as make music to do the same. So that was a mouthful, but you get it.
Well, thank you guys for joining us.
And the recipe, it will be posted online as well, or you can go through Words Beats in Life on their Instagram. Also, you can find Irene, I believe is it Irene's Kitchen on Instagram and social media?
You know what? It's just under my name, Irene Castruita. So it's I think it might show my name underneath there, Irene Castruita. So Irene Castruita on Instagram or Facebook.
Please follow Irene, and you can also follow me as well at Nick the Wonder. That's NICKTHA1DA. And trust me, once this is all over and we're not virtual, we're going to make some more remixes, Irene. I would love to.
Right. You got to meet up in real life.
Yes, indeed. Let's keep it going. Beats and eats with the food. Peace, y'all.
To the SP1200, the blue light bulb, to the board, the engineer's hands, and the limited well of patience. Hallelujah to everybody say ho, amen to all the ladies say ow. Thank God for make money, money, make money, money, and bless every hand that was ever put in the air. In your name, we pray. Some ideas, they shake you out of your sleep like when a toddler creeps. Totality of the deep, the mere thought of an unconscious manifestation carried out with the beat. Positive charged protons creating neural explosions. Time hiccups when fingers and pads touch. Dead air smiles because it knows what's coming. The countenance of the clock claps hands. The choreography of the knot slaps jams. And you be like, who made this? Vertebrae responding to the call so bad to make a B-girl curve the wall.